Hello, my name is Bria Williams. I'm the art teacher at Tench Tillman Elementary Middle School, and I am just going to briefly run through what we are working on this week. We are doing our name tags. We use our name tags throughout the year just to organize student work and keep things together, and it's the first project we do at the start of every school year just because it's a bit of a housekeeping tool for us, right? So on the screen here, you're going to have the students divide an 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper into 3 sections, sort of like a brochure fold. And we're going to orient it portrait style like I have here on the screen. And we are only going to be working in the center section. Okay, so the one in the middle. And the first thing we're going to have to determine is whether or not the student's name has an even number of characters or an odd number of characters. Okay, I'm going to start with the odd first. So in my name, Bria, I have 5 letters in my name. And the first thing we need to do is determine the letter that is in the center of the name. So in this case, that would be the letter E. And back on our paper, we're going to have the students find the center of their name tag. We're just going to have them folded in half. And I just have that marked here with this dotted orange line. That's going to represent our center line here. If you have an odd number of letters in your name, you're going to take the letter that is in the center of your name. In my case, it's the letter E. And I am going to put that letter right on the center line. I'm going to write that letter right on top of my center line. Right? From here, I'm going to work from the center to the right of my paper. So my next letter in this direction is going to be E. And my last letter is going to be A. Hold on, I think I might be having, okay. Now we're going to go back to our center letter here, and we're going to go from the center letter back to the left side of the paper. And this one's going to be R. I'm going to write that right behind my letter E. And then finally, my first letter is actually going to be the last letter that I write. And the letter B. Okay? So we work from the center to the edges of the paper. We never start with this letter. We never start with this one. Work from the center to the edges of the paper. This is how we're going to orient our name tags if we have an odd number of characters in our name. Okay. If we have an even number of characters, like over here, we're going to look for a space in the center of that name that has the same number of letters on one side as it does on the other. So technically we have 2 center letters. In this case, it's going to be the A and the K. And we're going to repeat the same process. I'm going to start with the K first. So I'm going to draw the K on one side of my center line, not directly on it. And then moving to the right of the paper, place my letter E right behind that. And then we're going to repeat the process from the center line, working back to the left. Like A. And then our J. So we're always working from the center out to the edges of the paper. Now, some common mistakes we see when we have kids do this. If they don't start with the center, we can end up with something like this, where they just start with the first letter of the name. What did I do? There we go. They start with the first letter of the name, and they just write it, but then they wind up with all this blank space over here, which isn't horrible, but it's not what we're looking for. They will lose points for that, when they get graded for it. Another thing they'll like to do because they like to make their name itty bitty teeny weeny tiny, and they have all this extra space around their name tag. we don't really want that either, because it's a name tag. We need to be able to see it from a distance. So we need this drawn pretty large. So as big as they can fit it on the paper. And then once that's done, they can go ahead and add a background, some colors, what have you. But that's the easiest way to get this done. I hope this helps with the lesson. Oh, also, let me turn some of this off here. I'm doing the most. Hold on. There it is. Some of the students will ask you about bubble letters. And if you know how to do bubble letters, go ahead and go for it. The easiest way I find to do this, let me fix my markers here. So let's say we start with Jake. So the easiest way to start is we're just going to write the name in first. We don't try to do bubble letters right off the bat, just have them write the letters. So I'm just going to write the letters first. And actually, I'm going to do this in a separate color, just so it's a little bit easier to see where I'm going with this. So I'm going to write it in orange. Okay, letter A and the letter J. Okay. Whenever I'm at the board, I usually, whatever lines that I'm going to erase later, I typically draw in orange, so they would probably be used to see. I'm just used to doing this. Okay. So what we do now, once you have the name just written, we're just writing it. You're not doing anything fancy to it. The easiest way I found to get them to complete the bubble letters that they're asking me for is we're just going to choose a space a little bit away from our letter. So my letter is here. That is not what I wanted to do. My letter is here. So I'm just going to pick a space a little bit away from the letter itself. And what we're going to do is we're just going to trace that letter around. I'm tracing in black because these are the lines that we're going to keep. And that black should never touch the orange. So we're basically just tracing this around. Simplest way to explain how to do bubble letters that they can do that looks decent. We have a closed space in the A, so we're going to trace that closed space as well. Again, that black should never touch the center line. It should never touch that orange. And we just keep on around. And we're going to do the same thing for the E. And then once we have all our letters traced, we just go in and we erase out the original lines that we drew, and that'll leave us with the bubble letters. Let's try to make that a little bit bigger. All right. And then they can go in and design and color and fill however they want. But they typically ask me to do this every time we do these name tags. So this is the easiest way I've found to explain it to them. Thank you so much for helping us with our letters and helping me by covering this class. This is a hectic time of year, and I really, really do appreciate it. Thank you so much. God bless and have a wonderful day.